to order at 5:01. First on the agenda is to approve and sign the minutes from the November 30th meeting.
I'll make a motion to accept them as presented.
Okay, I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next we have to approve and sign the non-public meeting minutes from November 30th.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
Okay, I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are gonna table the minutes for the workshop on December 6th and the non-public session on December 6th as Gil is not present. Oh, I need to do a motion? Okay, a motion to table the minutes from the workshop on December 6th and the non-public workshop on December 6th.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and I will second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we tabled those because Scott and I were in attendance and Gil was not, so we have to, where Scott's not in attendance tonight, move those to the next meeting. So then we have to approve and sign the workshop minutes from December 13th.
I'll make a motion to accept those.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up, we have an email that we received from Bill Waterhouse as it regarding property transfers and tax deeding and the sale of property. Would you like to add anything to the email that you had sent, or do you want me to kind of give you the answers to that email and then?
We can do that. I was going to read the email, just summarize it so you could keep me in bounds and I would stick with that.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to. I don't have the email in front of me, so yeah, I don't.
My request to be on the agenda was to begin a conversation as to the properties the voters authorized the select board to, and then what I was thinking about how these were chosen to be sold, that was one. Secondly, what effort would be made through advertising and postings to increase the awareness of the sales and maximize the proceeds for the town? How would the titles be transferred? And then finally was following up on a statement that the town is working on the Lost Valley lot. I was curious as to why tax deeded properties were not chosen to be sold to purchase the maintenance building, and how would the process and procedures vary from these for the fire station and the maintenance building. So
Okay.
That's what I had written.
So what I have, or what we have for information, is that tax deeded property and purchase property, although they're both town owned, the sale of each of them are governed by different state statutes and RSAs. So tax deeded properties are governed by RSA 80:80, right? And that's how the town can sell those. And then town-owned properties are governed by RSA 41:14-A, and that's what governs us. But both of those, either whether it's a tax deeded property or a property that we've purchased, both of those, because we don't have, or there's nowhere we can find on record that the RSA 41:14, which allows the selectmen to acquire and sell property or buildings without a town meeting. And that's why last town meeting, we presented warrant articles for the townspeople to vote for the sales of the old fire station and the town garage. The same would happen for any tax deeded property as well. So we can look at them and we can decide, we could say, hypothetical, and just as an example, the Lilac Street property that we've kind of know that we took by tax deed. Whether we can say we're looking to possibly sell that piece of property, but to sell it, we still need to go to town meeting and get the townspeople. So it would go on the warrant article, and the townspeople would still have to agree to that sale. Once that they agreed to that sale, the town council or our attorneys would do all the research, just as they have with the old fire station. They would do all that research back, checking all the deeds, checking property, all of that. And then they would do all the property transfers, but the advertising would be governed by our say. We have to check off all the items that they tell us to do for advertising. And now that social media has obviously become, we would do some social, we would post it to the town's Facebook page and people can share it, and it would be a public post. So we would go through whatever channels necessary to maximize the exposure. As far as picking properties, we had the old fire station that we know we've tried for several years to get that property fixed, and the bids have,
No takers.
We haven't had
no one,
any.
No
crickets.
takers, yeah.
Nothing, Jimmy and I did it for 2 years before he left, and we've been doing it ever since. You can't even find somebody that will work on it. I mean, just as
And it's
a
falling apart.
small project, I've been looking for maybe a handyman type business to come in and just do small stuff. We need to fix as you go by the deck where you used to go up and go into the court, you can see that's just up there by a crooked post, and you can't find anybody to work on it. We don't have anybody that's really
Mhm.
qualified that works for the town. We did have at one time, he worked for the town for about 6 months and then transferred to the state garage down in Rumney. But he had some carpenter skills, but he wasn't here long enough for us to utilize those. My son's moving back into town in May for good, hopefully, and I know he's coming back anyways in May, but I'm trying to get him to do maybe that, but he's more into the hard charging, build the big $1 million places and that sort of thing. But if I could talk him into doing it, if I was 10 years younger, I'd start my business again and start working on stuff like that, because there is money to be made, a lot of money to be made, if you want to do that. But everybody's looking to build the $2 million things now and run a crew and make $1 bazillion all at once, so. But as far as that property goes, and any of them actually, when I mentioned we were working on it, it's little things like that that we look at and keep trying to accomplish as we go. As for the rest of the smaller properties or the stuff that's out there, we've had Roy Saban in the past do some background work on the sizes and the surveying parts of those lots and so forth, and we will eventually get to. There's the town garage and the old fire station are the only two properties that I think we own that have buildings on them, if I remember correctly. So the rest of them would just be,
Which is valuable too.
And the
yeah.
rest of them obviously would come on
Some of
an
them are pretty
article
much out in
in
the
a next, in
boondocks
any town meeting.
where you couldn't get to them. They may be
And we're
kind
doing,
of stranded out there, but
doing them in chunks when we can. You know, we obviously haven't had time to look much past the old town garage and the old fire station at this point. And then as far as how the process would go, most communities, I mean, we've never really done much.
I didn't know if you
Um,
were.
No, I think we're in the clear, if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Most towns use auctioneers to run the sale of a property. And I would suspect we'll look at that option, but we'll also look at what other options, sealed bids is other
Sealed
ways.
bids, right.
Yep, so we would look at what makes the most sense for whatever property we're looking to sell, so. Does that,
Yes,
Good.
and I'd like to just start by saying that I come here to
Excuse me, Bill, just for a second. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm getting comments that the audio has a really bad whistling sound on it.
Oh, you are?
I don't know if that will matter with what your recording is.
Okay, thank you.
No, the recording's coming from above.
Oh, can you
so-
hear us? I can hear you, but there's a whistling sound, and a couple of other people who are logged in are also getting the same whistling sound.
Okay.
Just to let you know, I don't know how that interferes with what you're.
I don't know how to fix it either.
Maybe if I move it away from my machine, this machine a little bit, and be scratching.
Yeah,
maybe.
thank you. You're welcome.
Thanks, Melissa.
So
Sorry.
my intent in attending these meetings and my intent by spending time going through the computer, going through the RSAs, is to learn. It is certainly not to be adversarial, and should I learn something, then my intent is to share it. So having said that, the article said that it was for sale. The article was approved to sell those properties. Now, I know for tax deeds, unless the verbiage is changed, that is, the transfer must take place within 1 year. So are we going to be able to, I'm sorry, is the town of Woodstock going to be able to close on these?
According to our town council, yes.
By the date of the next town meeting?
No, we don't have to. They have the authority to sell when all the paperwork is cleared. Is what I was told. I mean, I can reconfirm that, but
In
that's what.
tax deeded properties, you'd said once you take a property by tax deed, we have to wait 2 years.
You have a 2-year redemption on tax deeded properties before they can go up for sale.
Right.
For a total of 5 years?
What's that,
For a total
Yeah,
of
3
5
years without
years?
paying the taxes and then another 2 years.
oh, yeah, and then we hold it in the town's name for they have 2 years to redeem it.
So,
Well, that just goes into somebody's plan.
so
Well,
again,
what you usually, and the only, I'm sorry, Bill, I don't mean to
no,
interrupt.
not a problem.
From experience, we had an issue like that with the motel that's down along, across the street from Spray Foam. And as soon as we deeded it and said, this property is going up for auction, they were on it. They didn't wait the 2 years, they got right on it. And that's the only one in my memory right now that we were ready to take.
But they have to
And
pay. They have to pay all the legal fees, all the transfer fees. There's a penalty for doing it as well, to get it back.
And then what happens, if memory serves me correctly, we take what they owe us in taxes, they get the rest of whatever we sold it for.
That's right.
So town doesn't really make anything, it just recoups what it lost in tax revenue from them.
Right.
I'll have to check on Bill's
So-
question. I was
Okay.
under the impression that when we were creating the article, I know we asked that and we were told it was okay, but
Right.
I don't
John
know.
wants to give
I-
it
So how does the town make up the revenue that it's expecting to receive in the taxes? Do you just tax everybody more?
Well, once it becomes the 10, what do you mean?
Well, you
No,
set a
I-
budget, and it's based on your tax revenue, and all of a sudden, you don't get 20% of your taxes because people don't pay them, but you still spent the whole thing.
If it's reflected the next
So
year.
that means you jack up everybody else's taxes that are paying them.
No, we usually, if I remember, make up the difference with,
General, there's sometimes general fund.
Oh, we use some
Surplus.
our surplus unassigned fund balance to offset our taxes, but, you know, your tax rate, but it's all part of that formula. I mean,
yeah,
as
you're
it
not
comes down.
getting,
You're still operating on the same budget,
yeah.
So,
and you only have so much coming in, then, yeah.
And the
ultimately.
DRA requires that we keep, what, 10 or 12% of our budget for surplus for emergencies. So for us, in the past, it's been around 200,000. So once we get down around there, we have to stop spending. DRA won't let us go into debt like that. But it's for everybody.
So
Yes, Bill.
my question is, it's 80:42, number 4, I believe.
80:42?
Yes. it says that for 1 year, such authority to transfer and sell shall continue in effect from 1 year for the date of the town meeting or action. However, it may be granted for an indefinite period if indefinitely until rescinded, and that's in quotes, is in the article. So
I
I'm
know, I can
offering
tell
that,
you-
I'm offering that because I know these are not tax acquired, but I'm curious as to if that deadline exists for town-owned properties.
They weren't tax deeded properties,
Right.
and they're different. And those articles were created by our lawyers, by our town council, when they were put up for sale.
Mhm.
And so I believe we're okay, but I don't know. I can't speak to that. I mean, we really need to just
That's offered as just a heads up.
ask
It's not a,
town council.
Yeah, that looks like it deals with, looking it up real quick, the transfer of tax lien. So the sale of property taken from tax.
Yeah, and that is different. That's a
And that is
different,
different.
than town-owned property. And I think that's where you're gonna find the difference, but I don't wanna speak
Right.
to it until I know for sure.
that's fine.
I wrote it down too.
I'm fine with those. You don't need to respond on that.
Okay.
Oh, no, I will, I'll
We'll
let
get
you
it-
know what
send
we
you an
find
email.
out.
Right.
But on the article for the firehouse, it says, map 106, lot 102. So this gets a little technical, because you're not selling that lot in its entirety now, I don't believe.
I believe we are. That's all with our
It's our
surveyor and the
legal
lawyers.
Yeah,
We'll let you know what we find out when it's done.
yeah. They've found some errors, so.
I don't think they found errors. They're
No,
clearing the
errors,
ti- oh, errors.
They've chased the family line down.
And
So okay, but my question would be, if that 17 feet ends up just not being
I
sold,
think-
then the
I think you just.
the article, that's a
We'll have to wait
different,
until
I
the
mean-
lawyers come back with the full package before we go. I mean,
I think everything is hypothetical until they're
Right.
done.
Okay.
And then I don't even think we can have a discussion on it until we have the facts in front of us.
but it's just a question.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that, the surveyors have been out over the last month. The lawyers have been working on this for, gosh, since town meeting or
Yeah.
shortly thereafter.
I was gonna say 8 to 10 months.
Releasing the errors and all of that. So there's only one more error left.
The property was originally given to us with the caveat that when you get rid of it, you've got to return it back.
The 17 feet.
Yeah, and we have not been able to find
Yeah,
the heirs at this point, but
yes, we have.
we're pretty close to it now. But in the past, which is why it's taken 9 or 10 months to find those people and go, you know, you can have it back, just do something, because we're getting rid of it.
we'll have.
So we'll let you know,
information.
it should
Yeah.
be in the very near future that we're gonna have everything.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. And then, and just to correct, my point on the statement at the end of the last meeting, it was stated by a board member that you were working on the Lost Valley lot.
Yeah, I
just
saw
looking
that
at
in
the
your email,
property.
Bill, and I don't remember mentioning that Lost Valley lot specifically. I think the question was directed to us as that we're working on. I answered the question, I thought we're working on all the properties and not that one specifically. I truly do not remember that was, I don't know what you said, November 30th? As to that meeting and working on any specific piece of property other than the town garage and
Because that was my trigger to go through and do this, that if you're working on selling tax acquired then there must be a difference between that and town outright owned
There is.
property.
There is.
And I mean, our goal is to look at all of the town properties that we have and what's available and what isn't available to sell, or what makes sense to sell and what
You
doesn't
get as
make
much
sense.
back on the tax roll
Right.
as possible.
Right.
Especially since you can't keep the net proceeds. Back in the
No,
80s and 90s, when Deanna would auction, that whatever the person was willing to pay for it, the excess went into the town. And
You had
now
to wait
that-
like a certain amount of years, and then if you did it, then you could keep 100% of it.
Correct.
And now you can't.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just been the last maybe 3 to 5 years that changed.
Mhm. Thank you for your patience and time, and
Thank you.
I'll let you know as soon as we have the other information.
appreciate it.
So, did I hear this right? You actually auction the
Mhm.
property, you don't just price it with a realtor and put it on the market?
Well,
Most towns use
Most towns-
auctioneers because
auctioneers.
it's cheaper.
Or you can do sealed bids, so
You
we
can
can
do
say,
sealed
we
bids.
want 20,000 for this piece, and we put it out, and people can do sealed bids
For a minimum.
for a minimum of
Yep.
that price. So we can put out a minimum of what they owe in back taxes, and then go from there.
And then it's,
that's for deeded properties, not town
For
owned.
deeded, right, for deeded properties.
So, in that case, if someone pays more than is owed to the town, does the remainder go back to the previous owner?
Yeah.
through the courts.
Through
This
the, right,
is one of
because
the
we
most
trump,
commonly used auction sites.
we trump all other liens, but then I don't know what happens
Okay.
after that. I
Yeah,
think
so
the
that's
courts
20.
determine
Yep.
So the mountains
how
put
much
those
goes back
properties
to
up.
them.
Wow.
Yes.
I
Right.
should look into that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Next up on the agenda, we had a question from Kyle Caulder regarding the purchase of road sand. He had thought somebody would be in attendance here for that, but unless either of you are here to speak to that, I think we will just move that to next week's agenda.
Table two.
Table to, not next week's, but
Next week you're joint.
right, on the 25th.
Fifth. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
I can say he was at the planning board meeting last night, and he did mention he had road sand ready.
All right. Yeah, we'll bring
Kyle
that
was
up.
there or Rex?
Rex was there.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll bring it up at the next meeting.
Yep.
The other thing we have on here is the New Hampshire Municipal Bond Bank loan documents. And we have the general obligation bond.
Hold on.
This is for the Avery property.
Yes, yeah.
to be much.
So the final, the paperwork has now come through on that. So do you need us to motion to accept? Okay.
And then you're gonna motion to accept and sign, and then to authorize another
The
motion
treasurer.
to treasurer, please.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so I make a motion to accept the general obligation bond in the amount of $425,600 for the Avery farm, or the new, what would be the new town Public Works garage.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
We also need to motion to allow the treasurer to sign this general obligation bond as well. So I make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
You're gonna have 4 copies of all of these to sign. Do you want
Okay.
them now?
Whatever you think works best.
Well, just to keep them all in order, because they gotta go to the bond bank, so
Okay, let's do it.
here's the 4 and the big paper clip.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's one. Thanks for your patience. Do we need to, like last meeting, read this certificate of receipt? No, okay, we just need to make a motion to accept it.
Acceptance on, yep.
Okay, so
Thank
I
you.
make a motion to accept and sign the signature of, and no litigation certificate with receipt for the bond, and again, in the amount of the $425,600. So I made that motion.
Seconded.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we need to make a motion to authorize the treasurer to sign this same certificate.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's 4 copies. 4 copies again. Alright. And we don't need to read this one either. Right. Okay. And so then, oh, wait. So we also have our certificate of our no, what is it, Archbishop, what is this one?
What? Oh, sorry, I'm in my own world. I've got mine flipped over, hold on.
A tax certificate.
Arbitrage.
At arbitrage?
Yeah, it's the
Arbitrage.
arbitrage and tax
And
certificate, I
tax
can't open
certificate. I've
it.
never heard of that. Huh.
That is that, there is one of those, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I make a motion to accept
flipped
the
over.
arbitrage and tax certificate, and again, in the amount of $425,600.
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
You made a motion?
I made the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
And we also need a motion to allow the treasurer to sign.
I'll make that motion.
All right, I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
There's this.
Okay, so here's 4 copies of this one, and I have it flipped over, that's what, sorry, so
That's
just so you
okay.
have it to the
That's okay.
page you guys need to be on.
Nope, I appreciate it. Sorry it stumbled me.
Just gonna get it for
That's that.
Oh, goodness.
All set. So next up, we have to review, approve, and sign the general assessing contract with Comerford, Nieder, and Perkins.
Niedermeyer.
Niedermeyer? Nieder. And Perkins, they're same general assessing services that we've used for the past several years. I didn't see anything in the contract that,
It's pretty boilerplate, and it's
Yeah.
already been approved by DRA.
okay,
It's been, they've received their blessings.
perfect. So I'll make a motion to accept the 2022 general assessing services contract from Comerford, Nieder, and Perkins.
I will second that.
All those in favor? Aye.
Just one of those.
Just one?
Just one. Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh. All right. And then, next up, we have some donations here. Great, looks like they had a great fundraiser with the wreath. So we have the Woodstock Firefighter Fund. So I make a motion to accept the gift donation of $6,965 for the Woodstock Firefighter Fund from their wreath sales.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
I motioned.
You did.
Yeah, sorry.
Fine.
I know.
I'll second it.
You will? Thanks.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
It's the kind of guy I am. Aye.
You're a good guy. You can do the next one. The next one's t-shirt sales. I'll take a motion to accept the gift of $940 for the donations for the Woodstock Firefighter Fund from t-shirt sales.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we have an additional one, again, so we need a motion to accept the gift of $660 to the Woodstock Firefighter Fund for t-shirt sales at the Woodstock station.
Also,
Motion?
Glad you guys are fighting over it.
I'll second
You know,
it.
there's only two.
I don't care. I'll
All
second it.
right, you second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next up, we have a check request. So I will make a motion to accept the check request to Inglert's for the wreath decorations in the amount of $1,360.11.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second.
Oh my God, you guys kill me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. Another check request for Sean Woods for the Twin State meeting in the amount of $35.05.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And lastly, a check request for John McKay for $84.56 for this Twin State meeting.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I have no other old business or other business, do you?
I do not.
Okay. Any additional public participation on this evening's agenda items?
Under old business from the November 2nd meeting, I
Okay.
requested that you have the town attorney look at RSA 231:3. I in turn have got my own litigators and we are prepared to move forward. I was hoping you'd have something back that was already going to be in agreement. It's been 70 days, so
I checked. He had sent an email. I responded to him to ask him if he wanted to be on the agenda. He had said it didn't need to be, so. I told him I'd let him know as soon as I heard back, and I reminded the lawyers.
Okay, so it's still with the lawyers? Mm-hmm. Okay. It is still with the lawyers. Apologies. So hopefully, hopefully she'll have something for us.
I cannot wait anymore. 70 days is enough. I'll be meeting with my attorneys tomorrow to
Okay.
proceed.
Okay.
I didn't want to cost the town extra money with this, but we have standing.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
May I just be clear, because this haunts me. If we look over Cheryl's right shoulder, you have the frame there. And in the frame, there is a declaration, and then there is a letter. The lot on the map is the frame within for the fire station. I'm struggling with this. In the warrant article, it said the town of Woodstock was going to sell everything within that frame as a lot number. It gave a specific lot number that was going to be sold. So now, if in fact the heirs have been found for that small piece on the on the left, the declaration, you're not selling the entire lot. So what does that do to the vote on the article?
Above me. I've
It's
been
about
told
that,
that.
yeah. Well,
That's all I'm trying to
Yep,
do
well,
is make it,
We have this, and we'll take it to the attorney and
If they tell me
share.
we're good to go,
Right.
they're the experts. I can only, that's what we
Right.
hire them to do.
and I'm only saying that this,
If they.
Bill Waterhouse can't wrap his mind around that. If you take a piece out and you voted to sell everything within the frame, is that vote saying that you can, and then do you need to subdivide it? Since it's one lot.
We're gonna ask, we'll bring it to the attorney. So, and find out what they have to say.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay?
For the benefit of the town, that's all I'm presenting it
Yep.
for.
Sounds good. Anything else? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 5:36 PM. Oh, my bad, Mike.
No, that's fine. I
Go ahead.
I feel fault under continuing business. I attended the November 20th, November 30th Selectmen's meeting. I was on the agenda,
Okay.
specifically to discuss the Potato Hill Road
Yep.
agreement or Potato Hill status of
Mhm.
the Class 5 or Class 6.
Yep.
When I attended, you told me that the attorneys had determined that it was Class 5 to, what I had presented. And I think it was Gil that had recommended that a letter get sent to everybody that received the letters of October 12th. And as of this date, I still have not received that letter stating that it is a Class 5 road.
We haven't sent them
Because the
out.
one you
Okay.
sent on.
I thought
October
I had in my
12th said it was
minutes.
Class 6 road, and when I gave my presentation and all my information at that November 30th meeting, that's when you determined it was a Class 5 road. So I'd like that letter that.
Okay.
I must have
we're
missed
supposed to
it.
get,
Yep.
So that I can,
We missed it, Mike.
no, that's fine, I just need it because I got,
No, it
like I
makes
said
sense.
before, I got-
Yep.
It makes-
No, it makes sense.
Information, and I just need that, so when I'm gone, somebody will know what it is.
Of course. Yep.
I
We
have,
will work on getting that out.
that's my error, Mike.
It may be helpful for both parties if you make it specific to a distance. Because as I had said, I'm not looking for the, what people may classify as Potato Hill Road,
Specific to
Class
distance.
5. It's only
Specific to the Downs Road or whatever.
So,
Yeah.
from like,
so that it's clear 20 years from now or 30 years from now, like we are
You need
today.
that for the block grant filing anyway.
You
how
know,
many feet?
It may be helpful for both
Yep.
parties.
And that's what I have in my minutes, that to notify the highway block grant, but I missed
Yeah.
the letter part.
We missed the letter part.
Yep, okay. I don't
So,
have-
Sorry, Mike.
thank you for reminding
I
us.
need to get it done.
Yep, no, we appreciate that.
Okay, and the only other request I had was maybe at your next selectmen's meeting on the 26th.
Yep.
Is it possible that we get an update on the water study that's been going on?
Yep.
The taxpayers could hear what's happening with that study and
Sure.
and the quarterly billing, how that's working out, if you're
Yep.
learning anything there.
Yep.
Yes, actually we are.
Just for an informational,
Yep.
anybody that is interested in trying
I
to
will try to get them here to
understand
update.
it.
Yep, we will work on trying to get them here. If not, we'll at least give you what we can get from
Yeah,
them.
I don't expect them to come, I hate to see you spend money for them, but if they
No, we don't.
support you, how things are going.
It's part of the contract, so
Okay,
we'll try to do it.
well, I'm not looking to
I know.
have a dog and pony show, just something so we kind of keep informed,
Okay,
that's it.
great. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Yeah.
signing on. Anybody else? I apologize that I didn't notice. Okay, doesn't look like it. So, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 5:39 PM.
I'll second that one too.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right.
Aye, very good. Thank you all for coming out on this frigid evening.
Thanks.